Today we're doing circles and circumference. Okay? A couple things you need to know about a circle. The radius is the distance from the center to any point. As long as it starts at the center, goes to any point. It can go here, or here, or here. Okay? That's the radius. Okay? The diameter is the distance across the circle through the center. If you notice, okay, this would be a radius, this is the diameter, okay? So the diameter is twice as long as the radius. Or the radius is half as long as the diameter, okay? So if I know the radius is 5, what will be the diameter? If it's twice as long as the radius, it'd be 10, right? If the radius is 10, how long would the diameter be? 20. What if the diameter was 20? How long would the radius? 10, right? If the diameter was 100, how long would the radius be? 50. It's half, right? All right, you need to write this down. This is a definition of circumference. And these are the two formulas. Okay, the formula for circumference is pi d. That's pi times the diameter. Or 2r pi. Okay, because diameter is equal to 2 times the radius, right? We just learned that. So these are two formulas, pi d or 2r pi. Okay, pi is 3.14. All right, now, and this is what we're going to use, 3.14. It actually is 3.14159265535 and on. Okay, as you can see at the back of the room. Pi is a ratio of circumference to diameter. All right, for any circle, okay, they can calculate the ratio. All right, it's 3.14 to circumference to diameter is 3.14. They use that; it works for any circle. So I can take pi 3.14159 whatever times the diameter, and I'll find my circumference. Okay, does everyone understand how to do that? Okay, so this is what your homework is going to look like. It's going to say, find the circumference of a circle. It's going to give you a circle here. It has a diameter of 3 inches. Now, the homework will tell you to use 3.14 throughout. We're not going to do that. Okay, for a couple problems, we're going to use 3.14 for pi, and a couple problems, we will just use the symbol pi. Okay, we won't actually do all the calculations. Okay, so what I do here, circumference is pi d, right? Pi times the diameter. Pi is 3.14. Someone raise your hand and tell me what the diameter is.
3.
It's 3. 3 times 3.14. 9.42 inches. So the circumference, the distance around this circle is 9.42 inches. Okay? So if you want to find the length around a tire, okay, the tread of the tire, how long is it, right? You take the pi times the diameter, and there you go. Alright, I need to know the circumference of this. So draw the circle. Or just draw a circle. Circumference equals pi d. However, does this give me diameter? Is 5.3 diameter or is that a radius? It's radius. So I need to use 2r pi, right? So I take 2 times 5.3 times 3.14. I get 33.3. You're supposed to round to the nearest tenth. Alright, so 33.3 centimeters. That's the distance around the circle. Any questions? Alright, you need to draw this circle. Okay, put the radius is 7 millimeters. And use pi. Alright, the problem's a 4. Come on in. Okay, the problem before we used 3.14. Okay, here we're just going to use a symbol. Right? My formula when given radius, circumference equals 2r pi. 2 times 7. And instead of writing 3.14, we're just using the symbol. We're not actually going to do all the calculations. 2 times 7 is 14. My answer is 14 pi millimeters. Now, your book won't do it like this. Okay? Actually, there's one problem where it does. It's a multiple choice problem. It'll be written like this. But the rest of it, it'll work it out. So if you want to check your answer, just take 14 times 3.14. Okay? You should get about the same number they got in the back of the book. Okay? But I'm doing this so you don't have to do it all out. Another reason why I'm doing it like this is because the OCCT doesn't let you use calculators. So it'll put your answer just like this. Okay? So I want you to get used to writing it as 14 pi. Okay? 14 times 3.14. Alright, so now we have a question. Circumference is 20.1 feet. What is the radius? Alright, so what I do is I write out my formula. C equals 2 pi r. Or 2r pi, sorry. 2 times the radius times pi. Okay? Because I want to get radius. Okay, I could also use 2d and then divide it by 2. But this is much easier. Okay? Plug in what I know. I know what circumference is. It's 20.1. Okay? 2, I know. Do I know my r? No, that's what we're trying to find. Do I know pi?
Yeah, 3.14.
3.14. It's a constant. Okay? It's not changing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get r by itself. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 2. I'm also going to divide by 3.14. Okay? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to times 2 and 3.14. Okay? 2 times 3.14. Okay, 6.28. So I'm going to divide by 6.28. It'll cancel a 2, it'll cancel a 3.14. So I'm going to take 20.1 divided by 6.28. Right, I want to make sure you know 2 times 3.14 is 6.28, right? So they would cancel each other out. That's why we did it that way. Right? 20.1 divided by 6.28 gives me 3.2. Equals what? What does it equal? Radius r. Okay? This is in feet, by the way. So here's my answer. Everyone understand how to do that? Plug in what you know, solve for what you don't know. Alright, here's your homework. Okay, for numbers 1 through 6, go ahead and do all the calculations, use 3.14. For 8 through 16, you have to use pi. Okay, that's the symbol. Okay, so you don't have to work out 8 through 16. Okay, just get it to where it's in terms of pi. 18, 30 through 33, right? They will use 3.14 and pi. Okay, you'll know which one's which.